All right, we're live.
Hey, we're live.
Oh, hey.
So we'll do it real
Hi.
quick, everybody.
Hey.
Hey, it's not out of music. It's not like you got a big intro video or nothing to do, Change up that logo from odd to Bardstone. There we go. Hey, let's just show the quick pen video. So here's the pen video for you guys. All right. And hey, we added a backer since this morning. So we're at 1304 with 43 backers. How awesome is that?
Only 7 away.
Yeah, if we get 7 more in the next 27 minutes, everybody gets a button.
So it ends at 7:30.
Yes. I had to time it out. I'm after like 8 of them, I think we're starting to learn the little nuances.
Cool.
But yeah, super excited, man. It's been a fun ride, and as much as I love doing these things, I really love the fact that this was a 2-week Kickstarter. I really do.
Yeah. Well, especially for these type of things, I think it'll be better. The comic books, 3 weeks might be, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see where it goes. But it's short and sweet when it's the 2 week.
Yeah. I think for stuff like this, the 2 weeks works good. And then comics, I think 3 weeks. You don't really want to go too much longer than that. Because we want to get that stuff out there. So the sooner y'all get us some money, the sooner we can get that stuff to you.
Well, plus the 4 week. Well, what we're learning is definitely between 3 and 4 weeks, there's that valley of death you enter for a week when you're doing the 3 week where nothing happens. And when you do 4 week, it just extends to 2 weeks of nothingness. So
yeah.
So it definitely, I'm liking the 2 week. I'm going to experiment with that with the Frankenstein novel. That's going to be my next Kickstarter. I'm going to launch on March 16th. So, and I'm going to do that as a 2 week also, and see how that goes. But
it's nice, and I mean, you're right. This was a different kind of campaign. I literally have everything already in stock. As a matter of fact, my in-laws are in town, and I put them to work today, and they're putting all the pins together. So
they're like, from now on, we have to check his Kickstarter schedule before we come over.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, because I'm like, they're like, you got something we can help you with? I'm like, sure. Here, put these 500 pins together. Like, oh. So they have a little conveyor line going in there, and I'm like, man, this is great. You guys need to come up every time. I like this.
Well, that's the way to do it. I got notification Haslam is sending out the Roadkill Rampage, and I saw where they spent the weekend up at the Forneys at their Kickstarter kind of packaging area they've developed in their basement. So I think it's good to have people come in and help do that. So,
well, the other part of it too is we're getting more experienced because of how many we've done. I mean, this is our 8th. The upcoming Frankenstein is going to be our 9th Bardstone Kickstarter. And I know on my end, I'm definitely getting much more efficient at the packaging stage now. I'm getting a system in place. I'm figuring out how to organize things, and it goes much smoother. Like when I got done shipping this last one, Kevin's like, "You already are done."
I know. So, it's once you get everything organized and all the names downloaded, and you print off the spreadsheet. And, I mean, this will be a little simpler, 40 to 50 names and backing,
right?
Versus 100. And there's less add-ons. So, I mean, this does make it simpler. And we're talking about a smaller product. But you're right. I mean, once you print that all off and then you got everything done, if you have that laid out, I turn the Oasis here into, like a little factory and just like stage it out in little areas and run through it. And once you get it packaged and labeled, you're good to go. But it's getting to that point that's usually the the Nightmare.
Yeah.
Here, I'm gonna post the link here so people have it in there so they can get over there to become. We're just 7 away from the stretch goal being unlocked.
I know, we're so close. My two main ones was I love that we reached the stretch goal at 1,000. I really wanted to get to 50 backers, so I'd really like to see that. But I'm ecstatic with everyone that's already contributed, and we have some great fans out there, and there's a lot of new fans adding on for the pin. So I'm excited to have some new people back in Bardstone and in our products.
Yeah, so that's some of the method to our madness. We're trying to reach out, figuring out how to expand that sphere to grow the number of backers for all of our products, whether it's the comics, the novels, the pins. Yeah. We're hoping to do games down the road. And the more we can grow that base, the better it helps all of us on all of our future projects.
Yeah, well, we're quoting Yogurt from Spaceballs here. It's merchandising. Merchandising. Way to go.
That's right.
That's right.
It's Poe Macabre the chainsaw. That's coming soon.
Yeah, exactly.
Poe Macabre the flamethrower. Poe Macabre the cereal.
Chainsaw. No, never more. No, never more.
Yeah.
That's good.
There you go.
Yeah, that's nice. I like that.
That could be. You could do a Texas Chainsaw Massacre crossover event, and the chainsaw is doing Nevermore.
There you go. That's nice.
I just saw there's a Kickstarter out there that's about to launch. It's Cthulhu Invades Wonderland.
So
you could do Leatherface meets Edgar Allan Poe.
That's very interesting. Yeah.
Except for the fact that Leatherface is completely copyrighted now to get the new movie on Netflix. But
did you watch that, Kevin?
I haven't. All the reviews I said is just close your eyes and watch the Halloween movie and pretend it was Leatherface and you watched it.
Oh, okay.
It's exactly the same storyline. They basically just took the remake of Halloween and inserted their Leatherface and so I'll watch it because I do hear it was well done, but as far as storyline, it's like, man, this is really recent to be like copying this. It's so
well, production wise, they might have even started at the same time.
Yeah, I don't know how that worked. Poe beer. That's not a bad idea. That's not. Probably Poe bourbon would be really, really good, don't you think?
I think a Poe bourbon would be good.
Yeah, but you got like at least 5 years. You have to have.
No, it has to be a porter. A porter.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
Porter.
Yeah, we get a nice. We need to get like a nice dark Poe bourbon,
Yeah.
And it could be called. It'll be Nevermore.
When you pour it out, it's the Edgar Allan pour.
Mm-hmm.
That is good. That is good.
Yeah. So get over there, people. Buy some pins. Do you guys mind if I unveil the preview of the Kickstarter page for Frankenstein?
Go for it. Absolutely.
So you guys haven't seen it yet.
No, we've seen the book. The book is fantastic.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So this is the Kickstarter for. I was trying to have it ready, but it's still in the review process because I was hoping to have the pre-launch page live, but it's not live yet. But let's see here. I'm gonna silence the music there and stuff, but this will give you an idea of like some of the artwork. It's the full Mary Shelley Frankenstein novel. The original title is Frankenstein or the Modern Prometheus. Originally written in 1818. It has 30 illustrations in it, and it's at the start of each chapter are these type of illustrations, and then we have 2 full-page ones for the prologue and epilogue, which our version of Dracula in Crimson Shadows explains the tie-ins from the novel over into our Crimson Shadows universe. So that gives you an idea there of some of the illustrations. It's 234 pages long, I think, the novel. It's all in black and white. It's a full-blown book, So it's a little different for us than what we've done in the past. So I tried to do a little different stylized art there. And then we got the body of this. We got little explanations, all that fun stuff. But then we have our rewards. So I'm really looking forward to launching this and seeing how it goes. But I've got 3 bookmarks that I'm going to have released. We've got the paperback novel. We've got the hardcover novel. And then there's some rewards. Oh, we have some proof copies that are signed and numbered. And then I have a set where you can get hardcover and softcover along with 2 sets of bookmarks. And then if it does well enough as one of the stretch goals, I'm going to upgrade the bookmarks to metal bookmarks.
Nice.
Then I have a set of unlimited edition covers for Crimson Shadows 1 through 3. And then we have the add-ons, which it's this is becoming brutal because we're becoming a good-sized company as Bardstone with a number of different products. So Ed, I just wish Kickstarter would allow us to save our add-on as a store and just
I know.
Move it from campaign to campaign because you have to hand enter every single item. So we're starting to run out. The ultra limited edition Smith cover for CS1 is sold out, so no more of those. But some of them are getting down to just small portions. So once they're sold, they're gone. And then add-ons for these, add-ons for the trading cards, the 4x6 mail prints, and I have 5 sets of the limited edition Poe sets available through add-ons. So there you go, and there's some more samples.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I set the goal as just 1,000. I'm hoping to get much more than that, but 1,000 is more than enough to at least get the initial print run done and cover the rewards that I have on here.
Yeah, we saw the proof copies last week at the show, and they look fantastic. Wonderful. Great job.
Yeah, I'm very happy with them. So very happy with our supplier. It's a good combination of quality and affordability for us to be able to put this product out to you guys.
Yeah, it's nice to venture out into the full novel. It's like I think you've said it before. So many people think they know the story, but they don't. They have no idea what the actual story was, which is true about Dracula, Frankenstein, Jekyll and Hyde. There's been so many pop culture variations that what most people think they know when they read the books. I think you said it best. The book's 200 years old, and you were surprised at the ending. How does that happen?
Right. I don't want to give spoilers. It's so different than what I expected. Yeah. And you even said it's been a while since you read it.
Yeah.
What we know in pop culture so saturates us. When I was telling you what I was reading, you're like, oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, because I blurred everything together because it's probably been college since I actually read the actual story. And if anyone knows me, I hunt down anything that's Frankenstein or Frankenstein's monsters or any kind of variation of that in comic form or anything else. I love it. I like collecting that stuff. And the movies. I think there's at least 25 different variations I've seen. Anytime I find anything close to it, I watch it. So after that, it just kind of like blends together, and you just start putting what you like about all of them, and you have your own version of what that story is with all these combinations. So it was like, I'm sorry, what? You were telling me like, oh my God, you're right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, like even like the Dr. Jekyll, I'm having fun with that one now. I'm 65% through with that one, maybe a little more. So that'll be the next novel I put out. And working on the trade. As soon as I'm done with Dr. Jekyll, because that one's going so fast, I'm going to finish that up, but then go back to the trade to finish that up because I just have an 8-page story to do final touches on. So
yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
And you got your trade going.
Yeah, I've slowly it's been so busy with work. I've been just absolutely bombarded, but I have been working on the Poe trade. I've got all the pages formatted. I'm actually putting together all the bonus material now. I've got to finish up the coloring of the last story I've added, but that's a full 15-page, full-blown story that you only will get in the trade. There's going to be a lot of bonus pages with some covers, a nice little section walking through my process on doing a page from penciling to inking to ink wash, and I think that's always kind of fun to give people a little peek behind the curtain on how we create some of the artwork. So I'm having fun with that. It's again, the formatting to different printers and is always a curveball. It seems like every time you find a printer or something you want to go with, it always is a different variation of size or margins or something.
I've reformatted my stuff a few times just because of switching printers a couple times.
Yeah.
And
even with the same printer, that happened to me with our supplier.
Yeah,
where they switched over some systems when I had everything all ready for them. I sent it in, and they're like, we don't do it that way anymore. I'm like,
yeah, I know. And comics bad enough, but when you got 100-page trade and you're like, I'm sorry, you did what?
Yeah,
100 pages you want me to change? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
But, and even with the digital publications, that's a whole separate formatting I have to do. So I have to go page by page and get everything in line there, and that's a process in of itself.
Yeah, I always say once you have once you have the artwork done and everything's colored and you have every page 100% complete, you are now halfway there. Congratulations.
Right. That's true.
And then everything else starts, and it's we've learned this over the last 2 years of doing the books, but it's a marathon, not a sprint. There's a lot to it, and a lot more than most people think.
In all sincerity, I think we're getting to the point where we could sincerely approach shows about letting us do panels on how to do.
You learn the. Well, I will say this: we had done enough, and we've known enough people. We researched with a lot of different people, and a lot of people have been doing this for many, many years. And we picked a lot of different people's brains, other creators, big and small, and we got a lot of good information. And quite frankly, by keeping your eyes on Kickstarters, you learn what works and what doesn't. Also, so
you mentioned that. Did you see the new Kickstarter that launched today?
No.
It's Sanderson is his last name. He's our author. He's up to over $17 million.
What?
Yeah.
In one day?
Yeah. He's a writer. And it's like, and you're buying these books that he's got. I've never heard of him. Now he may be known, but go to Kickstarter.com, and the first thing you see is his thing. He's the
is this that surprise? Oh my God, yes. Surprise. 4 Secrets novels. Holy cow.
Yeah, and they
what are the add-ons? Hookers and Blow? I mean, Jesus Christ. 17 million?
Well, I can tell you this, just the hardcovers are like $160 for all 4 hardcovers, and they come out starting in January. But then they have like a $300-something order where
it is.
You get a swag thing with it. Yeah, I mean
someone just donated.
Yeah, I had it up for a minute before I clicked on for the Poe, and it updates like that. Every 20 seconds it's updating.
67th. Okay, see, this is how did he do that? Who is
this? What the holy hell?
Yeah.
He's got,
and he literally launched like this morning or sometime, like last night at the latest. But yeah, this is if you get a year of it. It's like $300-something. You get something every month. You get a book.
So
they have like a swag, and then they have this. Then they have another book. Every 3 months, a new book comes out.
Here it is: January, February, March, April. He's got it labeled what comes out. So what it is so January is Secret Project number 1. Then it's themed. Then you get a box of themed swag. March themed swag. So every 4 months, he's actually coming out with a book, and then he has these boxes of swag.
Wow.
So basically, you're buying 12 months of rewards.
You can just get the books though, and they have just the books, which again, $160 just for the books, but they're hardcovers. But I've never heard of this guy. I was like, man, that's what I'm hoping you guys have, because
he's got to be someone that we just don't. He's not in our wheelhouse.
I Googled him, and he's got a webpage, and he sounds like he's been around for a while.
It's
I just
interesting.
ain't hip. So,
Wow. Still going
he's-
up.
Yeah.
Jesus.
He has 28 days to go. I'm gonna follow this because I wanna know where he ends up.
What is
Yeah.
he at this rate? He's at $17 million.
His
With
minimum
20
goal was
rate-
1 million. His minimum goal was 1 million.
Yeah,
At
29
this rate,
days
he's going
to
to
go.
hit. I mean, even if it has the, the middle slowdown like most Kickstarters, this is easily like $50 million.
Yeah. Well, and because of how it's going, the algorithms are gonna kick in and keep.
Oh yeah,
promoting
they're
it.
gonna. Yeah. Wow.
Okay, so he did the Mistborn series. He has a Mistborn game. Let's see
Yeah,
here. I said I ain't hip because I was like, wow, it's like he's got several books out. He's got the Stormlight Archive, which has got 6 books. Mistborn Saga has got the original trilogy. Mistborn Saga, the Wax and Wayne series had 3 books. Standalones, 2 books of those. 3 graphic novels for White Sand collections.
He's got a
Skyward
lot.
series.
He's got a big library of stuff he's done, and
Well,
now it's all
that's
at
what he is.
one time.
He worked on Wheel of Time stuff that Robert Jordan did. He continued that series. So he's been around, and they did a Magic the Gathering book called Children of the Nameless. So he's been around a while. It's just I think I've seen some of his stuff. I just didn't know who he was.
Well, just so he knows, it went up about $1 million after we shared it, so we should get 10%. Isn't that the rule Dominic has? Isn't it 10%?
Yeah, we'll take 10% of his Kickstarter. So.
Yeah, of the $1 million that it went up while we were talking about it.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll send you the bill.
That's good for him, though. Holy cow! Talk about.
Well, I think it's a great to see an author do it. Yeah, but yeah, it's like the first day he raised 15 million. So this is on the second day.
Wow.
So and
hey James,
so, yeah, it's definitely
James is in the house.
Oh yeah.
Wow. It's yeah. Then we go back to ours. It's like man. Wow.
I mean, when you look at numbers, and all that stuff, we're kind of in the same league if you work around the math a little bit.
This is kind of like when I was watching the Jack Reacher series. There's a scene where he takes his shirt off, and there's another actor that takes his shirt off, and the one actor is in decent shape, but I'm thinking that's just not fair having to take your shirt off next to that guy on TV.
I know, right? Exactly.
And that's kind of what we just did.
Yeah. That's kind of like, well,
now
we're both successful. We're both successful in our own ways. There we go.
This is the gorgeous thing of Kickstarter is there are projects out there I found where it's people who aren't that well known, and they'll have 30,000, 40,000. At any given project can take off. It's all about the algorithm, and if something hits just right, everyone learns of you, and it all of a sudden it's through the roof. And any one of our projects, quality wise, we have the quality, we have the story, we have the writing, the art, everything's there. It's just a matter of now the quality pure chance, and those two things coinciding, where you get where they say you produce your own luck. So we'll see. But only 4 minutes left. Come on, 7 people. Let's make it happen.
Well, I got to tell you this. We launched 2 years ago during COVID, and it's only until this year we got a chance to actually go out and start meeting people face to face. And it's nice to catch up with people like James and all those that supported it from the get go. They have bought the stuff from us at the shows, and not all have translated into Kickstarters yet. But I think once they see us coming around again this year at some of the places, they're going to start realizing that, hey, these guys are actually serious. And while I like their stuff, they want to support it more. So I think we're going to start seeing some more increase in stuff like our Kickstarter stuff like that over this next year or two.
Oh, yeah. Well, just to give you an idea, so we've only been doing this 2 years. We are averaging a new Kickstarter roughly every 2.5 months. That's not bad for 3 guys.
No.
That's pretty darn good.
3 broke guys at their homes. Yep.
Yep.
Definitely.
Yep. Well, we've talked about this 100 times. It's so much more rewarding to be able to do this, and it's it's just great. Even the pins, they were so much fun to design, and I was super happy with the way they turned out. And I wasn't sure if I was going to do a Kickstarter or anything. I kind of wanted the pins because everybody seemed to really, I really liked them. Everyone kept asking for them, and it was what everyone mentioned on the last Kickstarter when I asked, what would you like to see as, rewards? So, I went ahead and investigated. So to see that how well they were made, and once I got them, I'm like, I really think these are a standalone. We can do a Kickstarter for them, and I'm really happy to see that. So it gives me the opportunity to be able to get some more and to offer these at cons, and to offer them for rewards for future Kickstarters, and to do probably another set, because I'm telling you, they were actually a blast. I enjoyed drawing them. I enjoyed everything about them. It's a great process. It's a fun, a different category. It's just a different way to, promote our stuff.
Well, and that's thanks to all the backers, people like James and everyone else. It's, you guys have made our previous Kickstarter successes, and you're getting us to the point where we can now take that chance and try something that maybe is a little different and see, will this work? Like the two Crimson Shadows 2, I experimented with trading cards, and we're now experimenting with enamel pins, and some things will work, some things won't. But we're willing to try it, and if you guys like it, we'll keep doing it.
And our mindset is to continuously keep finding new things that we can offer, and to roll that money back in to do and add to what we're already doing. That's the whole point here, and it really enables us to do it. So thanks. I couldn't be happier with the results. I mean, it's wonderful to see the support, and it's great that we get to keep doing this. So you keep supporting, we'll keep making. That's how it works.
Full show.
Down to the last 80 seconds.
So once I'll let James know, because I don't think he was in earlier. So after we're done with this, I'll do one more last quick peek at the Frankenstein one, just so people can have a little taste.
Fantastic,
and that'll launch in 2 weeks, right?
2 weeks. We're going to launch it. Soon as I get the approval, I'll post the pre-launch page. It's in the review now, so there shouldn't be any issues. And looking forward to it. 48 seconds.
Yep, there it goes.
We need 7 people quickly signing in right
now. I gotta tell you, it's good considering we've had some good success with the books, and pins aren't everybody's cup of tea on stuff and things, but I think it's been great that people have supported this, and I think it's going to go well as we go on. So
thanks, James.
Yeah. Thanks. It was a great issue. Everything's turned out so well. I mean, it really has, and the response has been so positive with everything with Crimson Shadows. So
5,
really just wonderful.
4, 3,
2, 1.
Confetti.
There's the fireworks.
Here we go.
Another Kickstarter in the books, successfully funded. And Kevin said, he has it. So
I got notification I was charged. Great.
Yeah, I know, like ding, 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 ding. Thanks, James.
Yeah, so this one, like Kevin said, it's already done. So now it's he'll place a final order based upon quantities, and
I'll tell everyone from what I saw earlier, everything with the rewards, with the number of pins and everything else, I literally have everything here. And thanks to my in-laws being put to work today, I'll start packaging all this up next week. So I really, my goal is to have it shipped out before the end of the month. So we won't even get into April. I have most of the packaging supplies right here, literally, and I'm super happy for that. So this will be a quick turnaround as an extra thank you. We have a decent amount of, I think, 5 or 6 international shipments. So those will take a little bit longer to get to you, but I'll get those out quickly also. And as I promised, everyone internationally will get some extra swag and stuff shoved in there as a thank you. And good God, it costs so much to ship internationally. So
me setting up this last one, I had to up the price. I feel bad, but
I know you feel so horrible. I mean, I'm charging them more for the shipping than if they're buying one pin, but it's the unfortunate fact. But anyone that did do anything internationally, even if they're in Canada, which almost is harder to get across the border than anywhere else at the moment. But everyone's going to get something extra, button or something.
Maybe you got to come up here with your COVID card and your passport and just cross over at Windsor and
just go to hand deliver them. It'd be quicker. Yeah.
I think my cheapest package was $29 to ship to Canada. Yeah. And then for Europe, it was like $4.40, I think, was the cheap. But now they understand that though, and they tend to not order one comic book. And so like the ones I did ship, they were like a lot of comics that they bought.
Yeah, they make it worth their while. And
I suspect they group up too. They probably get a couple people together and order a batch.
Yeah. So and the in the future, probably not this year, just with obviously the way things are going. But we'll go international next year with some kind of show.
Yeah,
I mean, definitely. It's I'd love to get over to England. So
I just want to show this real quick for James, and he's such an awesome backer. This is our Frankenstein. This is the preview page of the Kickstarter, so it's not live yet. I just have a goal of 1,000. These are black and white, pure novels with chapter illustrations at the beginning of every chapter and a prologue and epilogue. But I got some bookmarks that we're offering. We've got the paperback novel along with the bookmarks, proof copies. I got some available of those. Same with the hardcover. And then there's a package where you can get both the hardcover and the soft cover. Give one away as a gift. And then if for people who don't, I'm hoping to find new fans for us through the novels. I'm posting this under the publishing section of Kickstarter. So for some of those people, they might not know Crimson Shadows yet. So I got a package with issues 1 through 3, and then our goodies, our add-ons that we always have. So we got those there. So and then some samples from a couple of the chapters on the interior. 30 illustrations featuring our version of Frankenstein and the such.
Fantastic. Yeah, looking forward to that. Just a couple weeks away.
Yeah, it's not far. Looking up, you try not to get your hopes up, but you start doing research and looking at other projects that are similar, and like I'm finding ones that are $30,000, $50,000. I'm like,
Yeah. Like, you said it. Nice. I mean, it just depends. I mean, it's a recognizable brand. Thanks, James.
Thank you.
It's a recognizable brand and it's a recognizable name, and our take on it, I think, is truly unique. And the ingenious idea of incorporating it with the epilogue and the prologue into the Crimson Shadow universe is that's a whole story in its own. That's just a wonderful short story of how that's tying into the Crimson Shadows universe, which is a lot of fun.
Yeah. So here's what I'll reveal for James. Kind of like it wasn't intentional, but once it was done and I started planning out like the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde and all these, I realized it's kind of going along the path of Thanos in the Marvel movies. For a bunch of movies, we didn't see him other than the end credit scenes. And his plan was kind of revealed through various end credit scenes until he really, came onto the scene. And so with what I'm doing in the novels is I'm revealing Dracula's plans through these various little added dialogues that I'm putting in the prologues and epilogue. So you're getting a little bit of his backstory, his plans, what is his ultimate motive. Little pieces are being revealed through those.
Yep.
So that way in the comic, I don't have to spend 3 issues.
Right. Exactly.
Just to tell you what he's doing. So it works out well, and it's been fun. I've been enjoying writing and doing that side of the equation too. So it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. And then we got so the next thing will be the Frankenstein one. We've got the Poe trade coming out. We've got Crimson Shadows trade coming out. We've got Dr. Jekyll coming out. Brett's working on his Boomtown Scabs number 5.
Yeah, and I'm going to come out with the issue and then probably the trade altogether. It won't be done as a Kickstarter, but I'll announce it.
Yeah.
And then people will be able to order it and just get that going, because I've worked on a series for a long time. So it's kind of time to kind of wrap up this chapter of it and then move on to the next thing I want to do.
Yeah, that'll be a glorious day.
Yeah.
But we got a lot going on, and Crimson Shadows 4 is already written, but I have a feeling I need to go back and massage it a little because over time, just the story, I had written the full arc from issue 1 through 5, but that was when I was doing just finished issue 1. So I kind of got to go back now and reread issues 1 through 3 and make sure I'm staying, on track. So I may have to massage the story a little, just to fit. Because there's been, you make edits along the way and slight changes, and then you forget. Yeah, it's so funny though, because you really do. Like a long time ago, I remember George Lucas. He'd always get answers wrong on Star Wars, and it's like, how does he not know these things? He created it, but and he made the comment one time to one of the actors. He goes, "You will never know more than the fans," and he didn't. He wasn't saying that sarcastically. Right. He meant it, because the problem we have is what I'm learning as a creator is there's the canon that is created in the story, but our head canon, what we know as the creator is we know we're kind of like the multiverse. We know what they did, but we knew every decision of what we were thinking of them doing too at the same time. So it's like, oh wait, what did I have him do? I gotta go back and look.
Because you remember the 3 versions that you did, and only one of them got printed.
Right. Exactly. So,
Appreciate James reading actually my Boomtown comics as well.
Oh, very nice.
Get an IndieCon there. So James, next time I see an Indie Comics, which is in April, pick up the Expendables. I got copies available. But don't feel obligated. So no,
I did want to also give a little shout out here. Let me pull this up here. Not to make it all serious, but one of our backers, his name's Steven, he has this site called Reading with a Flight Ring. And I got a call this weekend from his father. It turns out he passed away. So sometime in December. So he has this awesome website that he ran, and he would do reviews of comic books. There he is there. And he did an amazing review and critique of our Crimson Shadow series. That was just, what I like about his reviews is you could tell he truly read what he was reviewing, and B, you could tell he cared about what he was doing. For him, it was a really big thing. So so if you think about it, Reading with a Flight Ring, if you Google that, it's readingwithaflightring.weebly.com is what's coming up here. But he has reviews, he does cosplays of the day, but he's been doing this a long time and he really goes in depth. So, like I said, he passed away, but it's, if you wanted good reviews of things, this is where to go. I'm telling you.
Yeah, he was fantastic.
Yeah. So, and you guys,
I'd seen him at Ohio shows for quite a few years. He always came by, and so Cincinnati he came by, and definitely I pointed out that Scott, who he was, said, "Oh yeah, he did the review of and I actually saw him
Yeah.
and the other thing. So just it was Scott mentioned it. I was like, wow, it's you hate losing someone in the community, and the community is
Yeah.
more than just the creators, writers, artists. It's the people that read the books, it's the people that review the books, things like that. And a lot of these people we see from show to show all the time, and when they pass on, it affects all of us in a lot of ways. So
yeah. For people who aren't in the Comic-Con comic book community, I don't think they understand how tight knit of a community it is and how interwoven it is. So anyways, I just want to give a shout out to him. He I remember when we first came across that review, it was like, wow, this is
Yeah,
amazing.
that was that put such a smile on my face. It was great. We got to meet him in Gem City. He stopped by the booth.
Yeah.
And it was just great. It's super sad to hear about this, and he was a really nice guy, and like you said, a real ambassador for comics in general.
Yeah, here he would post all these cosplay pictures of cosplayers he'd come across. So it's pretty cool. I mean, he definitely, you could tell he loved it. He loved this this genre, this world of ours. So rest in peace, Steve.
yeah, sorry to hear about that.
Yeah.
Now James says he has my book, The Expendables. Okay, great. I don't know what he bought for me. He bought some Boomtown stuff. Holy Spirit, the Boomtown Scabs, Adventures of Carl, all that fun stuff. And then we've got our Barstone stuff. It's funny when I explain to people what we have, they kind of look at me kind of weird. I'm like, well, I've been publishing since 2005, but I partnered up with these jokers, and we got all this great new stuff coming out. So I finally, I think I figured it out this year. I separate my stuff is kind of a comedic type stuff where the Barstool stuff we come out so far, and we're not going to stick with that, but it's been more of a macabre type feel. So there's a little separation on genres. But I always tell people it's all.
But we definitely aren't locked into that. There's no plans like we can only do this style.
No, that's where the Wretched Realms came out. That was a great little Western story, and I think it was cool.
Yeah, and there's more. I have so many ideas I want to do for Wretched Realms. It's just I need to find an artist.
If I could win the lottery, I'd have more time to not have to go out and work.
I need an artist who will work for exposure.
I offered somebody exposure over the weekend, and they turned me down. I was like, "Really?"
I got a restraining order.
And you got a cease and desist. That's what you got.
And I'll expose.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean,
and Scott, I heard your cease and desist was a short one.
Oh, shrinkage. It was cold.
I was in the pool.
Well, I can't wait for the next Kickstarter. I think I'm really excited. I love the way the Frankenstein book looked. I've said it before. And I did get asked over the weekend. Yes, Frankenstein, the novelization is public domain.
Yes.
So we do have the rights to publish it, and I can understand something. It's not something that's we're stealing from anybody. Right. So
everybody wants to be a copyright lawyer. This is 100% public domain. The group I got the transcripts from presents the transcripts specifically for people to redo as public domain. And there are certain rules for us. The way we do it, the minimum is 10 original illustrations. We have 30 in this one. So it's public domain. Now, what we don't have rights to is like the Boris Karloff looking.
Right. Other people's interpretations.
Right. You have to make it your own version, which I feel we've done a good job with developing ours to be a standalone. You won't look at ours and think it's somebody else's.
Nope, not at all.
It's a very distinct look. So so legally we're covered on that. Same with Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. That's not a public domain. Now, like you start getting into things like Edgar Rice Burroughs and Tarzan, those trademarks and everything are held a little more tightly, and so you got to do research on which stories are out there that you.
And a lot of Lovecraft is very, very tricky.
Yeah.
It's very, very convoluted with Lovecraft stories.
It's like we're now seeing the A.A. Milne Winnie the Pooh books are starting to hit the public domain. The thing that you can't do with those right now is Tigger is not available as a public domain. Putting Winnie the Pooh in a T-shirt is not public domain.
Right.
So there's a lot of things like that. So, and it's little nuances like that you have to watch out for. Yeah. But like what we're doing, what Scott's been doing, and even Kevin, was using these public domain works. We're not trying to change them, rewrite them. We're trying to enhance them by releasing, like, again, this Frankenstein's original novelization. And tying into Crimson Shadows. And what we're doing is saying, hey, we go. And I've seen some other cool stuff. I've seen some great stuff done with the Alice in Wonderland series over the years that has been not necessarily retellings, but taking the story and saying, here's where I'm going to go with it from here, and going from there. And there's been some good runs of that stuff, different things. So a lot of cool stuff out there.
The weirdest thing about what Crimson Shadows is, our characters are so original because we're trying to stay true to the original.
Yeah.
Like pop culture has shaped it so much to be something completely different that people are seeing this as an original thing. It's like, oh, wow, Frankenstein's name is Adam. Why would you name him Adam? That's actually referred to in the book. Yep. And he takes on the name of everyone's like, you can't call him Frankenstein. It's Frankenstein's monster. No, the monster took on the name of his creator, and calls himself Frankenstein. So there's so many things that just people by staying true to the original, people think it's new.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? Yeah.
But James's comment there about Wrightson, for me personally, that is like the gold standard.
His absolutely. Was 100. Just as far as inking goes, that man was. Kirby was I love Kirby's everything. Kirby's the king of comics and the penciler, but I think Wrightson and everything that he did and that brush work and that inking and the dark tones that he got was amazing.
Well, what he reminds me of is my all-time favorite artist of all time is Gustave Doré. And if you don't know who he is, he did the original Paradise Lost artwork that was just so detailed. And what's amazing about him is those were engravings. Here, I'll share just so people know who I'm talking about. But so Gustave Doré is my all-time hero for artwork. These are etched plates that he did that they could print off of. And just the level of detail is insane. And Bernie Wrightson, with his detail and brushwork he does, reminds me a lot of Gustave Doré and what he did. But it's just, it's just amazing,
Wrightson,
like the details that they get.
Yeah. Wrightson's pages. I have no idea. Wrightson's pages look like those games that you play where you have to find all the different details in the picture that are hidden.
Yeah, I don't.
There's
know
like so much going on. You're like, what's that? You're zooming in. That's the best part about digital comics is having those comics, and you can zoom in and see the details, and like there's names like on the flasks and everything. It's insane. And you got the original artworks from 25, 30 years ago, minimum, if not longer. I mean, none of that was digital. I mean, he did every bit of that by hand.
Yeah,
that's insane. That's absolutely
Bernie
insane.
in there.
Yeah, and it's just gorgeous. Yeah,
the work he put into his stuff. I mean, I would have loved to sit and actually watched him work. Look at this one here. Look at the detail.
Yeah,
this picture it's a small portion. The rest is just piles and piles of flasks.
Yeah,
I mean, we joke like in the latest Crimson Shadows 3, there's a scene in the leather shop.
Yeah,
and James might know what we're talking about now since he read it. There's a lot of details in there. That is nothing compared to this image here. And we both were like, oh my God, there's so
I was cursing your name like, you son of a bitch. I've been working on this one page for like 2 days. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
But like,
I'm like, what the hell?
How
but no, you're right. It's it's nothing in comparison to that.
How do you
that's
even plan this
I
page
know
out?
that's I don't get it. I do not understand
And
it
this
at
is
all.
traditional. This is on
Yep.
paper. He didn't do this in a computer where you could draw it in layers and just overlay like, oh, okay, this will be this foreground now, and go over
And
it.
he used an old school traditional quill.
Yeah.
I mean,
look at this.
Look
at this. Look at this library. It's it's insane. But yeah, so Bernie Wrightson and Gustav Doré in my world there is no higher form of artist than these two here. It's just amazing to me.
Yeah, it's again, that's the best part about what we do. I mean, in our genre, art is so, you can have something that's, so detailed like this. Then you can have Mike Mignola draw something and it looks so simple. But if you would ask Mike Mignola, he'd be like, "Oh my God, I love Bernie Wrightson." If you ask Bernie Wrightson, he'd be like, "Oh my God, I love Mike Mignola." How can he do it so simple? And Mike Mignola's like, "Oh my God, how can you get so much detail?" People don't understand how all the different styles are so vastly different for each artist, and the respect is there for the minimalist as much as they are for the super detailed. And it's what makes comics great. It's one of the best mediums.
There's Mike Mignola that you were talking about.
One of my heroes. One of my personal heroes. Yeah.
But and even like look at Walking Dead. That was a very simplified art style, but they had a story. They had a story, and that at the end of the day, you have to have a story. And I'll give this advice to you up and coming wannabe creators, people who want to come out with something. Usually, what I hear when people try to present their ideas is they have a gimmick.
Yeah,
something that's a really cool idea. It's a gimmick. Oh, there's this really cool vehicle. There's this cool thing. There's this guy with this power. But what's the story?
Yeah,
right.
You gotta have a story. The gimmick will get old very fast, and even if you have the best artist in the world, people will ignore it after a couple issues. So you need the story.
Right. As good of an artist as Mike Mignola is, he's a much better writer.
Right. And he created a world through stories that people loved, and it became what it was. Just like Walking Dead, people loved the creation, the interpersonal relationships between the characters.
Yeah.
And that's what we're trying to do with Crimson Shadows and our other books.
Storytelling is everything. I've always said that myself. Of course, as a writer, that's what I have to say, So people say, "Oh, I love artwork of this, love artwork of that," but it's, and the thing with artwork too is again, regardless of how detailed it is or how some people consider simplistic. A lot of times, you look at some of the simplistic, and there's so much story in the artwork because they've taken so much action, so much movement.
Yeah.
Like looking at Jay Fosgate, he's got a very cartoony style, very old school animated look to his stuff.
Yeah.
And he has so much movement going on, so much stuff going on in his images. They do tell the story.
Definitely.
Yeah. There's, if you looked at my top 5 artists, it's a tough one for me, but they're so different in style. Walter Simonson was probably the first person I started to emulate. I love Mike Mignola, I love Jack Kirby. Dennis Cowan is probably easily in the top 3 for me. So if you look at their art styles and put them together, it's the entire spectrum of different styles, but it's what I loved about comics. I think because not only was the stories different, the artwork helps tell that story, and the artist is using their art and the different styles that they're using to accentuate that story in different ways. And every artist has a different way of doing that. And it does not have to be the same. You can have a Fantastic Four, super detailed, awesome, story, and then you can have a very simplistic art style with a good story. It doesn't matter. You're going to get a great end product no matter what, and that's really the genius and probably the most fun thing about what we do.
Yeah,
I agree. Yeah, I've been enjoying this process and learning more and more about being a creator, and know, the fun thing for us, and we've talked about in the past, not to, drag this on, but it's the collaboration process has been so fun for me on this. I have a certain art style that I do. Brett has a certain art style. Kevin has a certain art style, and we're all very different. But when we come together, it creates a new art style that none of us would do on our own.
Yeah, absolutely true.
So
absolutely true.
That's been, I think, the real fun for me with Crimson Shadows is it's like Queen. Freddie Mercury talked about this before, how yes, he can go do his solo stuff and his voice sounds the same, but the song doesn't sound like a Queen song. There's something about when they all four are together that it's Queen. Yeah. And I feel that way with Crimson Shadows. Is it's such a perfect blend, I feel, between all of us, where and it creates something new that I couldn't do on my own.
I truly love being able to do the inks, not only because I really enjoy it, but I don't have to really think. I just get to ink. I really enjoy that part of it. I really do. I look forward to that. It's probably my favorite process out of anything I do. Yeah. So to just be like, here's the pencils, ink it, and I get to send it in, I'm like, yay.
See, my favorite part is I've come to enjoy the writing a lot, but I really enjoy the figuring out the camera angles, the layouts, and the compositions. That's where I have my fun.
Yeah, you come up with shit I would never think of. I mean, it's the God honest truth. I mean,
thank you.
I love some of the different angles and ideas you come up with. I'm like, I never would have thought of that. And then I curse you because I'm like, now I have to ink this and figure out how all this is going to work.
Every now and then there's a spot where I'll be like, ooh, that's going to be hard. I'm glad I'm not inking it.
So yeah, there's some thought process like, let's see, how am I going to make that work? But I mean, that's what's the best part of this though. It's challenging in ways that you're coming up with, you're going for it, and you're like, all right, I'm going to go for this, and damn it, Kevin will just figure it out. And I love it. I really do.
100% of the times where I've had a panel where I'm like, I don't know how Kevin's going to ink this. And when I get back what you do, I'm like, wow, it's better. Every time, all of us have made the project better. All of us. And it's such a great feeling. Like some of the layouts I do, I wouldn't have done the scene if I was inking it, because I'm like, I'll mess it up. I'll mess it up in the inking process. Like, I'm good at lines. I'm great at line work. I can do black and whites, but you have, and I think it's your diversity of artists that you follow, like Magnola and all of them, is you have a really great eye for the pure black and white and are able to do stuff that I can't. So
it's great. I truly love the end product. I love what we all bring to it. I couldn't be happier with what we've done. I mean, I'll say it, and I think we've all said it. You can pull our book and put it right next to anything else on the stand right now. Any new comic coming out from a lot of the other publishers, and you mix ours in there, and you will not be able to tell from quality and artwork.
We do not have friendly arguments. We have brutal arguments.
I just have to remind Scott he's wrong and tell him why he's wrong and why I'm always right.
I will admit.
And I'll go back to hanging with Hawkins.
99 out of 100 times, Brett is right. Brett has an amazing memory. I've given up.
You should have seen me before my car accident, man. Before my car accident was even worse. It was almost eidetic.
But you and Connie both, we'll go somewhere.
Yeah. And
we'll go to a restaurant. And they're like, 3 years ago, you ate this on the menu. I'm like, how do you know that?
I don't know how I remember everything. I'll be honest with you. Before my car accident, I was even more like that. I was always been kind of hyper focused on. It wasn't intentional remembering stuff, but I always do that. But the thing is too, I think what gets along is we have, friendly arguments. Because we all know our strengths. We know some of our limitations. We all bring different things to the table, and we're all trying to. I think because we're all working on creating our own projects here. If they're not ours, we want to make sure that that person's creating our own project is the best it can be by offering the best that we have.
Yeah.
So really, the arguments are very limited.
They really are. I mean, we're very collaborative.
So we discuss a lot of this stuff together. It's like even with my aspect on the Crimson Shadows, is I do the lettering, and I enjoy the heck out of it. And I came to it going, okay, what can I do to be more than just throwing some word balloons and some letters up on a screen? So when you see some of the different stuff, a lot of stuff is just I'm trying to make it. I want to make Scott's words talk. I want to make it feel like there's a real voice there, and not just the image, showing the voice, but that when you read that text and you look at the image, that voice kind of really becomes more and more clear. Yeah. So I mean, that's why I bring to it.
This goes back to this goes back to how I think all of us have made this a better project because of what we brought. With Brett's background, he understands movies, scripting, but he's also an artist. And he brought that to the table, and he didn't like, for me, lettering is just bland. And it's like, okay, I'll throw the words up. They're just a necessary evil. But he did something that in the back of my mind, I didn't even know it was there. But when he did it, it's like, this is what it needed. You know what I mean? And it's like with George Lucas and music, where he said, different themes go with different people, and the music is telling a story on its own. And Brett did that with the lettering. He incorporated it into a way where you see a certain style of word balloon or a certain font, who's talking. I love that, and I never would have done that on my own. So, and all of us have done that, where we've done something to elevate it another level that we weren't even thinking it needed to go to. Of course, now it gets to sometimes Brett's probably like, oh, why did I do so many word balloon shapes? Or something?
I do have a document. I try to keep up with everything, but even that I forget some stuff, just like everything. But and the end result is really worth the extra work.
Yeah,
it's worth the fact that and I don't expect anybody to ever come up to me at a show and go, "Oh my God, this lettering was spectacular." Nobody really pays attention to that as much as I do. But because I've lettered all my own stuff for the most part, and it's one of those things where it's like I can update stuff, but you want to add something different. And I've had some people tell me, "Well, that's not the way it's done standardly," and I'm like, "Screw standards! I want it to be fun and cool, and and nothing was standard before they did it the first time." So,
very true.
When the first issue, when I decided to change up some of the fonts, I was like, these guys are different from, we have a couple of the creatures that are different from the humans. So why should they all have the same font? It should show a slight difference. And then the progression of the type of creature. That's why Dracula has a different box around the letters. And even though he shares the same font that Julius does, there's still difference there to show that while they are similar, there is a difference there. And we attack the dog.
and I'll just put out
2 hours. I was trying to play. So,
and regarding the dynamics in the group, it's an interesting dynamic because James, if you follow me on Facebook, I'm a pain in the ass. Okay, I'll admit it. And I don't have a lot of good friends. I have a lot of friends, but not a lot of great friends. And Brett and Kevin are both great friends. And I don't know, we just gel. We're able to, we see each other a lot. We travel a lot on the road, but it works. There's something about the dynamics that it works. We're very different in some ways, but so alike in others.
Well, Scott and I we've disagreed and debated things at times on different levels, but when it comes down to it, is we both listen to each other, we hear each other out, and I think it's what works out for all of us to be friends. Is we don't always agree on everything, but we respect each other enough to listen to the other opinions and then tell Scott why he's wrong.
Yeah. Well, you really. In all seriousness, you hit the nail on the head. It's just like anything else. I mean, everyone would be much better off to just realize that everyone can have a difference of opinion. You need to respect everybody's opinion. Yeah. And the fact that we can have discussions and do this, and even in the creative process or whatever we're talking about, we always can bounce ideas off of each other and figure things out. And I think that's why it works, because there's a dynamic, a level there where you have to have that understanding.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, that's what a lot of people are like. It's not there right now.
There's a certain chemistry that's developed when you have to travel the country sleeping with each other.
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, there's been weeks I've slept with these two more than I've slept with my wife. So,
yes. Speaking of Brandy, I have to give her a shout out for allowing Kevin to be my friend, because I know I drive Brandy crazy. So thank you, Brandy.
Well, I can attest to this without Scott being around. I've heard her say she loves Scott, but she does drive her crazy.
I will tell you this, guys. At anytime, I know either of you would drop whatever you're doing to come and help me out, and the same goes for me. And
yes,
and I think that's not only our friendship, but that's why this works well for Bardstown.
Yeah, and even like the input with each other. There's a blend of understanding each other's boundaries. Like, the Poe is Kevin's, Crimson Shadows is mine. But at the same time, even though we all have our own projects that are ours, we genuinely want to see the other one succeed and want to help out in whatever way. We will give our ideas in whatever way we can, and freely give them to allow that person to use them, and vice versa. But if they don't use it, we're not offended. Like, oh my God, how could he not do this? Why didn't he give a lightsaber to Edgar Allan Poe? We understand that there's an ebb and flow to this, but we don't take it personal. I don't know. It's just we have fun together.
Yeah. It works, and honestly, I think it's something that doesn't happen in a lot of business relationships.
Well, and the comic book world, it's just to be brutally honest, artists by their nature tend to wear their emotions on their sleeve more. We tend to. It can be very easy for artists to become backstabby and gossipy, and I've been part of those circles where it turned into that, and I'm like, I don't want to be part of that. And where people are stealing from each other and poaching ideas, and it can be very like high school cliquey at times. Well,
I think our big thing is all three of us want to see each of us succeed, and the best way we've been able to do this these last couple of years is to encourage and help out, and it's always been that way. So we've all been tied into people that unfortunately they are very self-centered, and I think what we've seen here is all three of us have always been like, I've been around long enough that I've always been wanting to encourage people. Someone encouraged me, someone gave me advice when I started comics, and I continually will always encourage in that. I talked to a guy at the Great Lakes Show. He wanted to show me his book. I told him no. I said, but he showed me some of his regular artwork that was not tied into his book. And I said, then you need to finish your book. Just get it out there. Don't worry about anybody else. And don't show it around, because I definitely don't want to be influenced by somebody else's book and do something that down the road they go, hey, that was my idea.
Exactly.
Stuff like that. But at the same time, we want to encourage people and being good friends. I mean, it's, sitting at the show this past weekend, you had all three of us, which is rare to have us all right together in that little spot there. But we all had a good time. And then a lot of times, even if we're at the same show, we're separated. And then when we get together at night, it's great to kind of discuss, like, oh, here's what I had. Did you guys see this person? Did you see that person? We try to send people over. I mean, heck, I was getting texts from Kevin and saying, crap me up. He goes, another one? Geez, how many people are you sending over? Everybody. I'm sending everybody over because, whether you buy from me or not, and you like something I have there or don't have, and I'm like, go see Kevin. Maybe he's got what you need. Go see Scott. Maybe they got what you need. I mean, I do that for people that aren't even part of our group here, but they're still friends. It's like, someone goes, do you have, XYZ print? No, I don't have that. But go see Terry. Terry's usually got it. Someone like that.
Terry's the default. Go see Terry.
But I've seen enough people that shows that even when they're working with somebody else, they're still so worried about competing with their own friends, and I don't care. My thought is this: I have all my books out. When I have everything out from Bardstone to Boomtown, and people say, well, I want Bardstone stuff, and it's not the title I wrote, I'm like, that's fine, man, because it's what you want to have. I'd rather you get something you're going to enjoy, and then when someone sees my stuff and they enjoy that, it's great too, and I can still promote the other stuff. it all works all hand in hand, and things like that. And it's always been like that. And I think that's why we've always got along. So
and that's also part of the vision with Bardstone is us, independently, we have our own independent fan bases, but by going together under Bardstone, it might allow if someone goes to Brett's table who's looking for something from me, they might see some of his stuff they like that they might not have gone to his table normally for. Right. And then they discover his work, or vice versa, or same with Kevin. Because we really do have very, when we set up as individuals, as artists, all three of us are very distinctly different booths.
Right.
And very we all attract different clients.
Yeah.
Well, I've seen that with Kevin. I've been up to the next show quite a bit lately, and just looking at the artwork, when we've had our artwork up, besides the Boomtown stuff, it's people look at stuff, they'll say, "Oh, that's kind of cool." They look at my print, and then look at Kevin's like, "Oh, that's really cool." And there's some similar, but a lot of differences. And they're like, "Which is which?" It's like, just get what you like, man. We're encouraging each other on all this stuff, and it all works out in the end. But I think
except for when I'm next to Kevin. Kevin's artwork is like visual crack, and nobody sees my art because I go with darker tones, more muted colors.
It's the brighter colors. I can
tell you Kevin's colors are like when you're walking down the cereal aisle, and the kids' eyes all go.
They're like, Frosted Flakes has got toys. I'll take that one.
Yeah, because that's the shit I liked when I was a kid. I like that. I love those colors in the comics, man. That's what I love that.
It's marketing 101. That's why the cereal boxes are that way, because it pops. You and Brett too. You use very vibrant colors that really pop it. Whereas I tend to see the world as a miserable place and go with more dark and gloomy colors.
But Scott's work is really great,
which works for Crimson Shadows.
Yeah,
people like the muted colors.
I will say this:
there.
so when people really are looking at the artwork and they're really studying not just the colors and seeing something, oh, that's quick. I was like, oh, I like Goonies. I'll take a Goonie print. When they really pay attention, it's like all of our artwork really will speak to somebody in different ways,
right?
And I've seen a lot of people go through Scott's stuff and they just absolutely love it. Like, wow, this is really cool. I love what you did with the Harry Potter stuff. And then you flip it and he's got something else and different prints he's done in his Helmet series. I mean, heck, that's been a cool series to see for artwork and that. But then when it comes to the books, I mean, really, it's we've got such a great thing going with Bardstone that, it lends to some of the story ideas I've had over the years and wondered if it would translate well. People look at my cartoony Boomtown Scabs and Expendables to something a little more adult tone, and not even like full on adult, like rated R, not as cartoony. So,
and
we'll see some of that hopefully come out in the next couple of years here.
There you go.
Yeah.
That was a long answer to James's question.
Yes. James he's like, holy cow, I didn't know what kind of worms I was opening up. Jeez.
He went to bed and woke up and he's like, they're still talking.
He's like, Brett's still talking? That son of a bitch. Jesus, what the hell's wrong with him? No, it's been great. It's a great partnership. I've had other partners in the last several years, and this has been one of the top ones. So it's definitely good to work with these guys. So
absolutely.
Yeah. Good times. We love it. We love collaborating, and we have a common interest, I think, just across the board, whether it's types of movies or
very true.
Like we all have our independent things. Kevin tends to be more the horror. I tend to be more Star Wars. Brett's a bigger, more general genre, I think. Well, you love Harry Potter. You're big on Harry Potter, but you tend to be
Harry
more
Potter,
broad.
The writing stuff I do is a little more, I would say, more comedic and in the storytelling. And it's just it's funny how many people say it's hard to write comedy. I don't really try to write comedy. I just, as I'm writing a story, it's just comedic things come out. So if I tried to write comedy, I think I would actually fail miserably. But I just try to tell fun stories. What I always want to, all three of us are just wanting to be really good storytellers in every way. And with Kevin doing Poe, he truly is a storyteller, because it isn't just taking these stories and saying, okay, I'll just draw what I see here. He's visualizing in a way that people don't. And that's actually why I when I did the Dream of the Dream, I was inspired by what I read in Poe Macabre 1, because it was the visualizations to the stories was not what I always thought they would be.
Yeah.
And I realized it didn't have to be
Yeah.
exactly this Poe says this, so it has to be this. It's like he said this, but it doesn't actually mean that. And
Right.
So-
That's the best thing about Poe, and again, what I've always loved. But everyone reads those stories and interprets them differently. And I think I said before, when the older you get, you go back and read these stories, it means something completely different to you in your 40s than it did when you're in your teens or your 20s. It's great, and you hit the nail on the head. It's you present these stories in a completely different way, and people are like, wait, what? No, this is what happened at the end of that. I'm like, well, is it? I mean, you don't know. I mean, that's the best part about storytelling, especially Poe, because in a lot of ways, you think he's telling you exactly what happened. Most of the time he's not. He's not giving you the details that you think he is.
Your brain is filling in presumptions.
Yeah,
exactly. The telltale heart, everyone always forgets. No one knows who's the narrator.
Yeah,
never mentions who's the narrator. No person, relation, male, female, age, nothing about it. The narrator is just telling you the story.
Winnie the Pooh. It's the narrator.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's so many different things like that when you look at them, and just the interpretations can be different ways. And I agree, it's not just Poe, but there's so many different things out there that when you saw something as a child to an adult, it sometimes changes a little bit in what you see and understanding it, even if it's shown the exact same way.
Right.
So,
well,
hey, we've run on for a long time today.
Yeah. We've had a little too much fun.
So James, this is us. If we were all sitting in the same room, Kevin and I'd be drinking more than Scott, but because I would have his 2 beers and be completely drunk. But I don't drink a ton, as long as I know I have to go anywhere. Scott scores, or Kevin's turning me more onto bourbon, so it's empty. I need more.
I wouldn't mind drinking. I have nothing against drinking. It's just doesn't do it for me anymore. I think I've developed like a slight allergy to it. When I drink beer, I now like my eyes feel puffy after. I don't feel good anymore.
I think that's why I've gotten used to. Kevin turned me on to old fashions a couple years ago, and I've gotten into the bourbons a little bit, and I'm finding I enjoy the sipping aspect of it more than just trying to chug a beer.
Yeah.
See, I've never liked the flavor of any alcohol, so I just had to chug it.
I didn't used to think that, but as I've gotten into the bourbons, I like that. But the thing too is, if all three of us are sitting around, this is what we do. Whether we're drinking or not, we just kind of talk about stuff. We carry on, and
if we were at a show, this would be the exact same conversation, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
tied into what time do we have to get up in the morning and what time is breakfast.
Me and Connie would get up first.
Yeah,
I take my shower, then Connie takes hers, then I go get coffee. By the time I get back, it's just about time for Brett and Kevin to get up.
which, by the way, is like still 6 a.m., 6 or 7 a.m. It's like, none of us sleep late. That's the crazy thing.
We'll have 5:30 in the morning conversations on Facebook Messenger.
Right?
Yeah. It's funny.
Jill thinks I'm crazy. I'm like, no.
It's like these guys are up. It's like I'll be up getting ready because I get up at 5:15 to head to work. Yeah, get ready to head to work, and it's one of those things. It's like also the messages are coming through. I'm like, I keep thinking, and it's been for years now, and I'm going, my God, these guys are up early, and I'm like, why are they up early? like me, we're all gonna get stuff done, and it's like we get up and get moving and get our day started, and then I get like a rare day like today. I don't have to get up and go anywhere. I was still up at 6, and then I was able to go back to sleep and sleep till 7. And that's like really sleeping in. I tell people they're like going, I sleep until noon. I'm like, good for you. But at that point, I've gotten crap done.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm typically waking up typically around 5:30, but sometimes as early as 4, sometimes as late as 6:30, 7 once in a great while. A lot of times by 6:30 in the morning, I'm done with my laundry.
Right.
I like doing all that stuff early and get it over. I'd rather get up early and take a nap later in the day than sleep in.
See, I'm part of that TikTok video thing. It's like I was going to do something, a lot of stuff today, but I took a nap. But it was a really good nap. But that's usually afternoon. But usually at that point, I've actually done a lot of stuff. It's like, I got a bunch of stuff done at like 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm like, I'll settle down for a bit, and I saw Hawkins here a bit, and You know, he decides he wants to take a nap, so he lays across your legs, and nothing you can do but sleep.
Yep.
But I'd rather do that and get up early and get stuff done. I never understood the sleep until noon. I'm like,
Same.
crap,
Same.
get up, go grocery shopping, get your stuff done. What do you got to do? Grocery, laundry,
Yeah,
you
get
gotta mow
it
the
all
lawn
done so you can relax later.
and enjoy the rest of the day. I like enjoying
Yep.
the evenings more than anything.
Yeah.
So, and that's why we have fun at shows. Is once we're done with dinner after the show, we get back, we're all relaxing and just kind of enjoying the fact that the day's ending and we all get to hang out. I get to do that with Kevin this weekend for the Hall of Heroes. So come on out and see us there too.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Elkhart, Indiana, somewhere in there. Just Google it, you'll find it.
Yep.
It's not that big a town.
Exactly.
And I think I'm more excited about Rise and Roll and trying the actual original Rise and Roll place.
Yes, Rise and Roll. Amish
So-
Bakery. Yum.
The donuts for
Donuts.
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 Hey, appreciate it, Kickstarter.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate
join
it
us
very much.
Join us in 2 weeks. Scott will be launching. Frankenstein. I won't be on for that, but he'll launch something
That's okay.
Scott with Kevin here, and
Yep.
it's a great read. You guys are going to enjoy reading Frankenstein if you've
Yeah.
never read it for the first time. Get our book
Absolutely.
to tie into the Crimson Shadow stuff. It'll be a lot of fun.
And it's not a bad read. It's 284 pages, but it goes quick. It really does. It's
Yep.
24 chapters, I think. And
They're small chapter. Yeah, it's a quick
Yeah.
read.
there's really only one long chapter in the whole book.
It's only
Um,
about a third the size of a Harry Potter book. Easy read. Easy.
Yeah,
read.
it's
Yep.
and it's 234 pages, but it's like a 7x10 book. So I didn't go with tiny text. It's okay text. It's not tiny though. So there's a lot of
we're
white
getting
space.
old.
Yeah.
We're getting old. We can't read it small.
Yep.
Need big letters.
So just stay tuned. I will post the pre-launch page for Frankenstein as soon as it's live, anytime in the next 3 days, and start getting the followers on there, and we'll see where it goes.
Awesome. Man. And we'll see you guys either at Hall of Heroes or hopefully Indiana Comic-Con.
All
Yes,
right. Well,
thank
if
you,
James
guys.
is leaving, we gotta say bye.
All right. Adios, guys. So long.
Thank you again.